A Chinese company is about to ship a humanoid companion robot series to people's homes. Not a toy, not a screen on wheels. The full-body version stands like a person, moves like a person, and has skin that feels like a person. The cheapest model starts around $17,000, but the full-body version costs closer to $23,000. And before a single unit has shipped, more than 13,000 orders had already been placed. But the most unsettling part isn't the robot. It's why so many people want one. The company is called UBTECH. They're based in Shenzhen, China, and they've been building robots for over a decade, mostly for education, commercial use, and industrial automation. But in 2026, they announced something different. A humanoid robot designed not for a factory floor or a trade show stage. A robot designed to live in your house, to talk to you, to learn your habits, to recognize when you're sad. They call it the UWORLD U1, and they say it's the world's first mass-produced full-size humanoid companion robot. That phrase, mass-produced, is what makes this different from everything else in robotics right now. Boston Dynamics builds incredible machines. Tesla showed off Optimus. Figure AI raised billions. But those robots are aimed at warehouses and factories. They're tools. The U1 isn't a tool. It's supposed to be company. And before we talk about what it can do, we need to talk about why this product exists at all. Because UBTECH didn't build this robot in a vacuum. They built it in response to a problem that's getting worse in almost every developed country on Earth. And it's a problem most people don't take seriously until it hits them personally. Loneliness. The numbers are hard to sit with. In China alone, more than 90 million adults live by themselves. On top of that, 118 million seniors are classified as empty nesters, people whose children have moved away and who now live with little or no daily human contact. Japan has an entire government office dedicated to the loneliness crisis. In the United States, the Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health epidemic in 2023, comparing its health effects to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. In the UK, 9 million people report feeling lonely often or always. Now picture this. An 82-year-old woman finishes dinner alone. She rinses her plate, sits back down. The house is quiet. It's been quiet since her husband died 3 years ago. Her daughter calls on Sundays sometimes. The rest of the week she talks to no one. That's the gap UBTECH is targeting. Not people who want a cool gadget. People who need presence. Someone or something in the room. So what does the U1 actually do? It has 88 degrees of freedom across its body. For reference, most humanoid robots have between 30 and 50. 88 means the U1 doesn't move like a machine on a stage. It shrugs. It tilts its head when it's listening. It gestures while it talks. It reaches out and holds something gently. The small motions that make a body feel alive rather than assembled. And then there's the skin. UBTECH developed a proprietary synthetic material that covers the robot's face and hands. It's not hard plastic, it's soft, it has texture, it responds to touch. The company says it was designed to cross the uncanny valley, that uncomfortable feeling you get when something looks almost human but not quite. Whether they've actually crossed it won't be clear until real people spend real time with it in their homes. That's a very different test than a stage demo. But the most important technology isn't in the body, it's in the brain. The U1 uses a multi-modal AI system that can recognize over 20 distinct human emotions with more than 90% accuracy. It doesn't just hear your words, it reads your facial expressions. It picks up on your tone of voice. It notices patterns in your behavior over time. Imagine this. You've been quieter than usual for 3 days. You haven't laughed. You've been going to bed earlier. The robot notices. It doesn't diagnose you. It doesn't lecture you. It says something like, "You mentioned your old neighborhood last Tuesday. Do you want to tell me more about it?" That's not a scripted response. That's a machine pulling from weeks of stored context to find the one thread that might get you talking again. Whether that's comforting or unsettling probably depends on how lonely you are. That memory system is what separates the U1 from everything else on the market. For years, most voice assistants treated conversations like a blank slate. You talk, they respond, they forget. The U1 is designed to build a running model of who you are, your preferences, your routines, your emotional rhythms. Over weeks and months, the conversations are supposed to feel less like talking to a machine, and more like talking to someone who actually knows you. UBTECH is offering the U1 in 3 tiers. The U1 Lite starts at 119,800 yuan, roughly $17,000 US. But here's an important detail most coverage skips. The Lite is not a full-body walking robot. It's a semi-torso model, a half-body unit designed for tabletop or seated interaction. Think of it as the companion that sits across from you at the kitchen table, not the one that follows you around the house. The U1 Pro, at 169,800 yuan, about $23,000, is a full-body model, and the U1 Ultra tops out at 990,000 yuan, roughly $137,000. The Ultra is the full experience. Full-body movement, full synthetic skin coverage, the most advanced emotional AI processing, the version that's meant to feel as close to human as current technology allows. That price range tells you something about who UBTECH thinks is buying this. $17,000 is a used car, a year of part-time home care. For a family with an aging parent living alone 300 miles away, a robot that provides daily conversation and monitors emotional well-being starts to look less like a gadget and more like a realistic option for a problem that keeps them up at night. And the demand confirms it. According to UBTECH's own announcement, cumulative orders across channels had surpassed 13,361 units by launch day. That's not a Kickstarter with vague promises. UBTECH is a publicly traded company with existing manufacturing lines and a track record of shipping real products. But this is where we need to be honest about the hard questions. The first is the uncanny valley. UBTECH says they've crossed it. That's one of the biggest claims anyone in robotics can make. Almost no company has done it at scale. Lifelike skin helps. Fluid movement helps. But the moment something is slightly off, the eyes don't track right, the mouth moves a fraction late, the walk has a mechanical stutter, the effect reverses. Instead of comfort, people feel unease. And that reaction is almost impossible to undo. The second is emotional depth. 20 emotions at 90% accuracy sounds impressive. But human emotional life involves hundreds of microstates, contradictions, and shifts. You can be happy and anxious at the same time. You can say you're fine while clearly not being fine. You can be sarcastic, you can be numb. A system trained on 20 categories is reading the chapter titles of a book with 1,000 pages. It's a start. It's not the full story. The third is privacy. The U1 is always watching, always listening, always learning. It's building a psychological profile of its owner over months and years. That data is extraordinarily personal. Where is it stored? Who has access? What happens if the company is acquired or the data is breached? For a device marketed at elderly, lonely, isolated people, the privacy stakes are as high as they get. And the fourth is the one nobody in the industry wants to talk about. Dependency. What happens when someone bonds with this robot? And they will. Humans bond with Roombas. They name their cars. A full-size humanoid that remembers your stories, asks about your day, and notices when you're sad? People will form real emotional attachments. Now imagine the robot breaks. Or the model is discontinued. Or the company pushes a software update and the personality shifts. The voice is slightly different. The rhythm of conversation changes. It still looks the same. But it doesn't feel the same. For a 25-year-old tech enthusiast, that's an inconvenience. For an 83-year-old widow whose robot was the only voice she heard all day, that's a loss. A real one. These aren't hypothetical concerns. They're the inevitable consequences of putting emotionally intelligent machines into the homes of people who are already vulnerable. And this is where even people who are excited about the technology have to sit with something uncomfortable. The U1 exists because millions of people have no one to talk to. This robot is a response to a social failure, not a technological triumph. If communities were stronger, if families lived closer, if elderly care systems actually worked, the U1 wouldn't have 13,000 pre-orders. It has them because the problem it solves is real, urgent, and getting worse every year. That doesn't mean the robot is wrong. It means the situation that created the demand for it is. UBTECH plans to begin shipping the first U1 units on September 16, 2026, starting with the Chinese domestic market, with full delivery expected by the end of the year and international expansion to follow. The company believes companion humanoid robots will eventually be as common in homes as smartphones. That might sound extreme right now. 10 years ago, talking to a voice assistant in your kitchen sounded extreme too. UBTECH is trying to bring humanoid robots into the same manufacturing logic China used for electronics: scale, speed, aggressive pricing designed to push units into millions of homes as quickly as possible. Whether that's inspiring or unsettling probably depends on how you feel about a machine knowing your emotions better than most of the people in your life. More than 13,000 orders had already been placed. Whoever placed them is waiting for September. And somewhere in a factory in Shenzhen, a robot with soft skin and a memory that never fades is being assembled for each one of them. The question was never whether we'd build machines that feel human. The question was always whether we'd need them to.